All right, Mr. Chair, you are live.
All right, thanks, Julian. Good evening, everybody. We'll call to order our regularly scheduled meeting of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board. It is the 3rd of July, 7 p.m. We have all board members present tonight, including Vice Chair Claire Conger, Dick Peterson, Brian Chitwood, and Chris Sheehan. We also have Deputy City Clerk Cynthia Gaines and Assistant City Attorney Joelle Braithwaite. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of our last meeting, which was June 5th, 2024. Assuming all board members have had the chance to review the same, and if there aren't any corrections or modifications, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
There's just there's one typo I found just at the bottom after the public hearing. It just says Chairman Peterson declared the public hearing closed at 7:15, and I know Dick desperately wants that job, but that was the only
Perfect.
thing I found.
Thanks for finding that, Ryan. I appreciate it. Anything else?
So moved.
So is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All right, the minutes will stand as approved pending that one minor revision. Thank you for catching it. Dick, we'll let you close it out next time if you really want to. All right, with that, I'd like to say for the record that because this is a public meeting, members of the public may testify by submitting written testimony, which can be considered by the board at the hearing. While members of the public can watch and observe tonight, their opinions can only be heard if they submit written testimony by going to www.annapolis.gov/ABC. So with that, we will turn to our disciplinary hearing. I'll declare the disciplinary hearing open. First item on our disciplinary hearing agenda tonight is Buddy's Crabs and Ribs. In accordance with the Alcoholic Beverage and Cannabis article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, the Annapolis Charter, and the code and rules and regulations of this board, the disciplinary hearing for Buddy's Crabs and Ribs is in connection with infraction citation 24-8507, alleging the sale or providing of alcoholic beverages to individuals under the age of 21. And so we'll bring everybody forward tonight. I know we have a lot of members of the Annapolis City Police Department here, so we're going to have to swear everybody in as soon as everybody's brought forward. Okay. If we try to get everybody to turn their cameras on quickly so we can administer the oath. See, we have Mr. Blonder here too. Great.
Mine's locked.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see that lock. That's all right. That's all right. We'll presume that you're raising your right hand. So everybody who's prepared to testify tonight, please raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you are about to give will be true and correct?
I do.
I do.
All right, we'll note there is an affirmative yes from everybody who raised their right hand. Now I'm going to ask everybody to state their name and address for the record before we get going. I'll start with Officer Bodmer. Name and address for the record, please.
Officer Bodmer, ID 6341, and you said address 199.
Yeah, address, please. Yep. Okay. Officer Davis, same thing.
Corporal Davis, Annapolis City Police Department, ID 6424, 199 Taylor Avenue, Annapolis, Maryland.
All right, thank you. Sergeant Newton.
Sergeant Newton, Annapolis Police, ID 4163, 189 Taylor Avenue.
All right, and then Officer Markowitz.
Officer Markowitz, ID 6535, 199 Taylor Avenue, Annapolis, Maryland.
And then we have a Detective Tolstoy here.
Hey, yes, sir. I'm here. Detective Tolstoy, ID 6668, 199 Taylor Avenue.
All right, much appreciated. And then Mr. Blonder, please.
You're muted, Mike.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Michael Blonder, 703 Hartford Road, Davidsonville, Maryland, 21035.
All right, Mr. Blonder, have you had the opportunity to review the citation and the police report in connection with this matter?
I did.
Okay, and are you going to be admitting the charges tonight?
We're going to admit to the charges.
All right, that's appreciated. So with that, the officer's evidence, the police report and citation will serve as the state's evidence in this particular case. So we will turn it over to you, Mr. Blonder. You can present your case in mitigation to the board at this point. Tell us what happened and anything else you'd like the board to know, okay?
Well, yes, apparently the waitress that we had just come out of a shift meeting about a half an hour earlier. And she served a minor that had a vertical license. We have multiple posters around. The dates went through in their shift meeting and everything else. She just failed us and failed you all.
Okay, is she still employed with you?
No, she's not.
Does the board have any questions?
No.
If there are no questions from the board, had the opportunity to review the past violations. I see you had one back in 2021. I think that was your latest violation. So with that, with there being a previous violation in the past 4 years, the board will take that into consideration. And I make a motion that we find you guilty as you've admitted the charges and fine Buddy's Crabs and Ribs a total of $750 to be payable within 30 days.
Second.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, Mr. Blunder, thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you. Sorry about the problem.
It's okay.
Do I need to stay on or can I get all this?
That's it. You'll be getting something from the city clerk's office about paying, please.
Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank
Thank
you. All right, next we have O'Brien's Oyster Bar, 111 Main Street, Annapolis, 21401. Again, in accordance with the Alcoholic Beverage and Cannabis article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, the Annapolis Charter and Code, and this board's rules and regulations. This disciplinary hearing is in connection with infraction citation 24-8506, alleging the following: the sale or providing alcohol to individuals under the age of 21.
Yes, hi. Can you hear me?
All right. Yeah, Mr. Costas, are you there? Can you hear us?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, great. And I'll just note for the record, we won't ask for the officers' addresses again. Ms. Gaines, you already have those from the previous one. Officers, if you are going to testify, just a friendly reminder that you've been previously sworn and you're still under oath, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Mr. Costas, I'm going to need you to raise your right hand, though, for me to be sworn in. Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalties of perjury that the responses you're about to give will be true and correct?
Correct. Yes, I do.
Okay, give us your full name and address for the record, please.
Yes, so thank you for give me the opportunity to correct the name. It's Kostas Alexakis. My last name is
Okay.
Alexakis. My first name is Kostas.
I'm just following what it says. It says Costas' iPhone, so I'm going off of that. I apologize.
No problem.
So yeah, just give us your address too, sir, if you wouldn't mind.
952 Old County Road, Severna Park, Maryland.
All right. Now, have you had the opportunity to review the citation in connection with this?
Yes, I've had the opportunity to review the citation. It's cited under section 10-2702, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And I did want to, I'm an attorney, so I suffer from reading too much maybe in some things. And I'm wondering if the requirement is that the individual who purchases or is provided the beverage is intending to use the beverage.
Yeah, I don't believe that's the case, and I see our city attorney shaking his head in the negative as well. Are you making a preliminary motion to dismiss based on that?
Yes.
Okay, well that I think we'll deny that at this juncture. So seeing as you've reviewed it, do you admit the charges that somebody sold to an underage individual?
I don't think there was a sale. The sale was interrupted. I think it was an underage individual apparently, who the bartender thought was over 21, obtained a drink, but then the officer interrupted the transaction and cited the bartender.
Okay.
The bartender has apologized profusely. He's a very good person, and as a consequence, we are carding everybody.
Okay. Yeah, before we before we get to your mitigation case, you do admit that the bartender provided an alcoholic beverage to somebody under the age of 21, correct?
That's a fact. That's an undisputed fact.
Okay. So with that, we will state that the city's documentation and citation will serve as the city's evidence, and I believe that you have admitted to a finding of guilt. At this point, we'll turn it over to you, and now you can present your case in mitigation about anything you wish the board to consider in assessing a penalty or some sort of a fine.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we have any other infraction, even though we do handle a lot of people. We have a block at the door after 10 o'clock, and everybody gets carded. We've had several instances where people, where there's a doubt as to the authenticity of the card, even though we're not required to authenticate the cards. But if there's doubt as to the authenticity of the card, we do not allow the person in the bar. So we very proactive in making sure that we don't have problems. And as I said before, the bartender has apologized profusely. He is a good and trusted employee, and we are carding now everybody, and that has not created any problems. People are everybody has an ID, and they're happy to present it when asked.
All right, well, that's quite an undertaking you guys have assumed, and I certainly applaud you for it. You are correct that you have not had a violation, and I can't recall. I remember when you purchased O'Brien's. I don't know how long it's been, but you haven't been here in this capacity, which is always a good thing.
Yeah.
Does the board have any questions? Okay. Well, there are no questions from the board. I'm going to make a motion that since this is your first infraction in more than 4 years, that we find you guilty and we assess a $500 fine to be paid within 30 days.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, sir, for being here. Appreciate the steps you're going through and assuring that this doesn't happen again.
Enjoy the 4th. Thank you.
Thank you. You too. Take care.
Bye.
Okay, next up, we have Ruben's Restaurant. Again, this is in accordance with the alcoholic beverages and cannabis article of the annotated code of Maryland, the Annapolis Charter and Code, and the rules and regulations of this board. This disciplinary hearing is in connection with infraction citation 24-8495, alleging the selling or providing of alcoholic beverages to individuals under the age of 21. Again, this is for Ruben's Restaurant, 247 West Street, Annapolis, 21401. And Ms. Gaines, I did note that in the materials, you received an email from the licensee who said, oh, looks like we may have somebody here. I think that
there are two licensees, so one could not make it, but the other will be present.
Okay, and the one that couldn't make it is traveling overseas, correct? Was that the reason? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right. So Jose, are you there? Can you unmute yourself? Yeah, we can't hear you. You're muted right now.
There he is.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, hold on 1 second for me before you start talking, okay?
Okay.
I need you to raise your right hand, and I'm going to administer an oath before we get started. Do you solemnly swear and affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be true and correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you give me your full name and address, please?
My name's Jose Kishpi. My address is 33 Jefferson Place, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401.
All right, officers, same thing as the last hearing. You are all sworn. Ms. Gaines has your name and address for the record, so I will not go through that exercise again. Jose, are you here to admit the charges today?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. So with that admission, the paperwork and the citation will serve as the city's evidence in this case. Sir, this is going to be your chance to present your case to the board about what happened, what you're doing to try to resolve it, anything you would like the board members to hear before we adjudicate and assess a fine or a penalty. So we'll turn it over to you, okay?
Okay. So what happened, we was a little busy, and old man coming with the young guy sitting and asking for beer, and he knocked the young guy, so that's when he got it was uncovered police. So, and this, we are already like 24 years around there, never this happened, and we're very, very sorry. And we know try and make another mistake like this, and what else I can tell you?
No, I mean it's commendable that you've been in business so long and that you haven't had this happen in the past. Are you making sure that whoever's on staff is carding everybody who's coming in and asking for drinks now?
Oh yes, that I hope never go this happen again, because the guy we already tell, and if he's like a young guy, he can even want to make it coming inside. But you know, something happens, and like that moment I was not there, but the guy who tell me that, but I know we in business like all these years it never happened.
Okay. All right.
And I'm sorry, my English not that right, so I am trying to explain it like
yeah, I think we
good I
understand.
can.
You're doing quite well, sir. You're doing quite well. Does the board have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I move we assess a $500 fine.
Second.
All right, there's been a motion and a second. All those in favor of assessing a $500 fine, a finding of guilt, and we'll make that payable within 30 days, if that's okay with you, Mr. Chitwood. All those in favor, all those in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Sir,
Okay.
there's gonna be a $500 fine assessed. You'll be getting notice from the city clerk's office to pay that, okay?
All right.
Okay, thanks for being here.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, next up is Terran Thai Cuisine, 138 Main Street, Annapolis 21401. Again, in accordance with the Alcoholic Beverage and Cannabis article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, Annapolis Charter and Code, and this board's rules and regulation. This disciplinary hearing is in connection with infraction citation 24-8510, alleging the sale or providing of alcoholic beverages to individuals under 21. So we'll give it a minute for people from Terran Thai to come forward. Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Is there a way that you can turn the camera on?
Okay.
Perfect, gotcha. All right, we have somebody else here, it looks like, too.
Could have been my brother or my mother.
I think maybe it's both. I see two people.
Two people.
Gotcha, I got two people. Okay, so here's what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to administer the oath like in those other hearings. So if everybody who's going to testify, who hasn't previously been sworn, could raise their right hands. Okay, and I'm assuming brother has his hand raised in the background too. Yeah, perfect. Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give will be true and correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. And then I need names and addresses for those who have not previously given names and addresses. So it should just be the three new individuals. So ma'am, if you could start, please.
My first,
Yep, go ahead. Just name and address, please.
Uraiwan Siliwong Hawan, 138 Main Street, Annapolis.
Okay, and then if the other individual who's with you could do the same, name and address, please.
Siri Wong Hawan, 3262 Old Fence Road, Ellicott City, Maryland, 21042.
Okay, thank you. And ma'am, your turn.
You mean the business address?
Yeah, business address is fine.
138 Main Street, Annapolis.
And then your full name, please.
My name is Yupyeong Wangpukdi.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, have you all had the opportunity to review the citation and the the city's officer's evidence?
Yes.
Okay, and are you admitting the charges tonight?
Yes.
Okay, great. So with that, the citation and all supporting documentation will serve as the city's case and will be entered into the record as evidence. This will be your chance to present your case to the board. You've had the chance to see a couple people before you. You can tell the board what happened, any sort of policies or procedures that you've undertaken since having this take place, anything you really want the board to consider before assessing a fine or some sort of a penalty. So we'll turn it over to you, okay?
Yes. So I can testify on their behalf, right? I'm not
Sure,
on
go
the.
ahead.
Yeah. So as of now, I just want to apologize for the mistake that our employees made that day, and since then we've taken really close care of the situation. We have one more waitress on the floor just to prevent that from happening. We cart everybody religiously now, from young ones to old ones. Doesn't matter who comes in, we cart everybody for alcohol now. And that day specifically, I think she just had her hands full. She had been properly trained at that point, but we're now taking more precautions and having more staff on the floor just in case.
Okay, all right. And you guys have owned this. I know there was a transfer a few years ago, correct? You guys bought this business not too long ago?
We bought this, it's been how many years now? Since you bought?
6 years.
It's been 6 years since we've been.
6 years? 6 years? Okay, and you haven't had any previous violations, correct?
None at all.
Does the board have any questions?
Yes, I do. Are your servers tip trained?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that for me, please?
Are your servers alcohol tips trained?
Yes, we train them to card all the time. We train them how to look at the ID and see if they're 21, when they have to be born by, in order to be 21, just in case, so this doesn't happen.
So they're not going necessarily through the formal tips training course, though. This is something you're doing yourselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
We would strongly recommend that you have your servers tips trained.
Okay.
And if you go online, you'll find on the web, you'll find sites that can do that training for you.
Okay. I'll definitely check that out and have them all enroll.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any additional questions from the board? Okay.
First offense, right, Mr. Fellow?
That's correct.
I move we fine them the $500 fine.
Second.
All right, so this would be a motion to fine them $500 after a finding of guilt payable within 30 days, Mr. Peterson?
Correct.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, you guys will be getting something in the mail about how to pay that $500 fine that's been assessed, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, last but not least on our disciplinary hearing tonight, we have Walgreens, 609 Taylor Avenue, Annapolis 21401, in accordance with the Alcoholic Beverage and Cannabis article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, Annapolis Charter Code, and the rules and regulations of this board. This is in connection with infraction citation 24-8499, alleging the sale or providing of alcoholic beverages to individuals under the age of 21. So we'll see who pops on for Walgreens. Mr. Song, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, great. And who else? It looks like we have
Craig and Kim, Mr.
Greg
Chairman.
and Kim here as well.
I'm here.
Hey, Craig, how are you?
Good. How about you, bud?
Great, thanks.
Good.
And then I see Kim as well.
Hello,
Hey, Kim, can you hear us?
I can.
Okay, great. And are you counsel for Walgreens?
No, I'm
Okay.
just the liquor license holder.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
All right.
I can speak for us, Jim.
Okay, not a problem. If you guys could just raise your right hands. Kim, can you turn your camera on by any chance?
No, it's not working. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. I'll just presume that you're raising your right hand. It might be a little silly, but we gotta do it anyways. Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give will be true and correct?
I do.
I do.
Noted affirmative yes from everybody. For the record, the deputies have already, and the deputies and the officers have already been sworn. We won't require them to provide their addresses again. So Mr. Solom, if you could just give us your full name and address, and Craig will ask you to do the same, and then Kim, please.
William Soam, 609 Taylor Avenue, Annapolis, Maryland.
Thank you. Craig, please.
Yeah, Craig Ivanko, 473 Severnside Drive, Severna Park, Maryland, 21146.
All right, thank you. And then Kim, go ahead, please.
Kimberly Castle, 784 Martin Court East, Severn, Maryland.
All right, thank you. Craig, you said you would be kind of speaking on behalf of everybody. Have you had the opportunity to review the citation and the supporting documentation in connection with this infraction?
I have.
Okay, and are you admitting the charges tonight?
We are.
All right, thank you. So with that, the city's reports and documentation will serve as the evidence in this case. At this point, we can excuse all of the officers. I appreciate you all being here tonight. Thanks for taking the time out, and thanks for doing such a thorough job with these investigations. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a good 4th.
All right, thanks. You too.
You guys too. Stay safe.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, Craig, so why don't you go ahead and tell us what happened, anything you want the board to consider before the board assesses a fine or any other type of penalty.
Yeah, well, so the young lady, Melissa, that sold to the officer, she actually took the ID. She said that her eyesight was bad, and that's why she read the date wrong, which obviously we can scan them with our technology. So we encourage everyone to scan the ID, not just look at it, because obviously, with my eyesight, and my eyesight's bad as well, it's hard to see that little date on there. So that's where she got it wrong. So she did ID, she just did not read the date correctly. So, we're wrong all the way across the board, but we reiterated to everyone, which we all go through the training every year, to ID everyone and make sure they scan it now.
All right, so you're not only IDing everybody now, you're requiring that everybody gets scanned as well, right?
Correct.
Okay. Does the board have any questions?
Yeah, Craig, I was really surprised when I saw this because every time I've purchased alcohol in Walgreens, they always ask me. They look at me and say, "Your birthday."
100%.
And so when I saw this, I thought, "My goodness, what happened?"
She didn't scan it. I mean, she looked at the ID. It's, but like I said, the numbers on there are so small that even when I try to read my own, I'm like, I can't read my own, let alone someone else's in a quick glance. So obviously scanning's the key. Our technology's there. There's no reason not to scan it. We just need to scan the ID. I
agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll make sure that happens. Like I said, obviously we're embarrassed by this, but we'll make sure that, because there are a lot of people that get angry with us that are elderly that do not want to pull an ID out, that are, and we get it, but it's the policy. We just don't want to be here at this meeting, and getting a fine.
Craig, I'm totally candid. I was in the same boat as Dick. I saw this come through, and because my experience is similar, although my colleague, Mr. Sheehan, pointed out a few months ago that I've gotten quite gray, at the very least, I've always been asked for a date of birth, and I assume because it has to go into the point of sale system. So
Correct.
did she have to manipulate would have had to put in a date of birth that would have allowed for the sale to go through?
I believe she put in what she thought she seen, because I think it was 05 was the cadet's birth date. And I think she's seen 03 is what she said, I believe. So yes, she did manipulate it because but I don't
And
think
I'm
she
not
was
trying to
trying
sound like something nefarious was going on, but I mean,
No,
ultimately, for the transaction to go through, with the way I understand your point of sale, using it as a consumer, that person has to put a birth date in, correct?
Absolutely. If you don't scan it, and if I take your ID and it's 1975, whatever the case is, 12/11, 1975, I would key that in. If I just took it from you and looked at it, but I would rather just scan it, because then that automatically prompts it and I can do the sale.
Sorry for all that. It was just I was in the same camp as Dick. It was just really surprising because everybody, you guys,
we overdo it. I mean, we try to. I mean, we get everyone, and like I said, there's people that are 93 years old with a walker, and we're IDing them, and they get pretty upset, quite honestly, at times. And I get it, and we all get it, but there again, it's our policy, so we're sticking to that. And like I said, we hope to never be in this situation.
All right, Craig, just make you feel better. I don't get upset. So keep doing it, please.
I'm glad you don't. Like I said, I'm there every day. Believe me, and there again, I'm pretty good with the customers, and they all know me. So it's not that big of a deal when they have to pull their ID out. Look, they're pulling their wallet out, they're pulling their money out, their ID sitting right there. So it's not usually a big deal. And honestly, anymore, they always have it ready for us. They don't even complain that much anymore. They're already sitting there with it.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the 100% scan policy, especially as we, I know it's just July, but Navy football season is going to be upon us, and stadium events, and I know business picks up for you guys. So
absolutely, we'll talk. Like I said, we've tightened it up. We'll get them to scan it.
Mr. Chairman, first offense.
First offense.
I move that we fine them $500. Claire saying second.
All right, so there's a motion to fine them $500 after a finding of guilt, payable within 30 days, Dick?
Yes.
Okay. There's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, Craig, you're going to be getting something in the mail from the city clerk's office that tells you how to pay the fine, okay?
Okay, sounds great. You guys have a good 4th.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay. So now we will declare our disciplinary hearing closed. We'll move on to business and miscellaneous items. First, we have a request for a special class C one-day license for beer only, I believe, and live music for Tides and Tunes summer concert by the Annapolis Maritime Museum. This is scheduled for Thursday, the 29th of August from 6 to 9:30 p.m. 723 2nd Street, Annapolis 21401. All right. And Lizzie, are you the only one here tonight? All right. I see Kelly's here too.
Kelly is too.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, hello.
Oh,
there she
we
is.
go. Okay. If we could just get your guys' names and addresses for the record, and then tell us a little bit about this event.
My name is Kelly Swartout, and I'm the Vice President of Development for the Annapolis Maritime Museum. I live at 1690 Winchester Road, Annapolis, Maryland, 21409.
My name is Lizzie Spokley. I'm the events coordinator at the Annapolis Maritime Museum, and my address is 1727 Columbia Beach Road, Shadyside, Maryland, 20764.
So the Annapolis Maritime Museum has its summer concert series that runs through mid-June through August. This year we are requesting an additional day, which we have asked for a license on the 29th of August. We do have everything in place. The concerts have been running smoothly. We do card people. We have officers on site. We have staff on site. and we are constantly milling around, making sure everybody is in good order. Lizzie, do you have anything else to say?
So in addition to carding, we also have barriers that keep our guests inside the event, so we're not spilling into the road. And we make sure that the music is cut off at promptly at 9. We try. We make sure that it is though. And yeah, so far we've had 3 concerts under our belt, and they've been rather successful. So due to popular demand, we added another concert, since there's 5 Thursdays in August. So it's a busy month for us, but it should be good.
And the other thing we do is, and this is what we said before, is that we hire a professional bar team, and they're all tips trained. So
Yes.
we make sure that that is the case.
Okay. And this is for beer. Is this for beer only or beer, wine, and liquor?
This is beer, wine, and
Beer,
liquor.
wine, and liquor. Okay. Gotcha.
Cocktails. It's not a full bar, but there's cocktails.
Sure. And it's the same setup that you guys do for every one of these concert series, just an additional date due to popular demand, right?
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha. All right, does the board have any questions?
I do. I've heard some complaints about not having any porta potties, that you only have 3 restrooms, and there's a lot of fence stuff going on. So if you don't do porta potties, I strongly suggest with the crowds you're getting,
Yeah.
you guys need to do something.
Yeah.
Just to keep your neighbors happy.
Yeah. We are looking at a new service, and we actually came to a conclusion that we probably need to get those as well.
Don't look at it. Do it, please.
Yes, we will.
Not a question. Just want to make sure you guys know Sarah's crowd manager certificate's expired. Did you see that? Were you guys?
I sent Cindy the updated one.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it wasn't in the. Maybe it was, Cindy. Sorry, I might have missed it. But anyway, that was more of a did you know than a question.
It was received after the package was scanned. My apology.
Any additional questions?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, your request is granted. Have fun.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Happy 4th.
Thanks. Happy 4th. All right, next we have an application for consumption of alcoholic beverages at the Stanton Center, which is on city property. This is for a 50th birthday party scheduled on October 19th, 2024 from 1 p.m. to midnight, 92 West Washington Street, Annapolis 21401. Yes, ma'am, Cindy.
Mr. Chair, I've been unsuccessful in contacting these folks. I've left several messages in an attempt to try to confirm the meeting information. And when Julian just sent me a text message letting me know that no one was in the room for this application, I tried to call again twice just now, and they both went to voicemail.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your efforts. They have plenty of time for this party. So what we can do is we'll kind of let it linger, and I'll call it one last time at the end, and we'll see if anybody shows up, but it's doubtful, but I appreciate you trying. Thanks so much. All right, so let's move to the next one, which is request for a special Class C one-day liquor license by the Naval Academy Athletic Association for an English Premier Soccer League match scheduled for July 31st, 2024 from 7 to 9:30 p.m. 511 Taylor Avenue, Annapolis 21401. Mr. Gibbons, how are you tonight?
Hey, good evening. How are you, sir?
Good, thanks. Just give us your name and address for the record. We'll ask Mr. Bland to do the same, and then tell us a little bit about the soccer match.
Okay, my name is Bill Givens. My address is 8 North Southwood Avenue, Annapolis, Maryland.
And then Mr. Bland, just your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, Curtis Bland, 818 Nancy Lynn Lane, Arnold, Maryland, 21012.
All right, thank you. Mr. Gibbons.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Chairman. As you mentioned, we are here tonight to request a special Class C one-day liquor license for an English Premier League soccer match at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. Crystal Palace will play the Wolverhampton Wolves on Wednesday, July 31st. We'd like to sell beer to the general public from our concession stands. As with past events such as Navy football and lacrosse and the Annapolis Blues, where we've sold beer, the following measures will be in place. Stadium gates will open 2 hours prior to kick. Beer sales will end at the 22nd minute mark of the second half. This is a ticketed event. As is our procedure, there will be 100% ID checks, and those served will be wristbanded upon proof of age. Sodexo servers are all tips trained. They are also empowered to refuse service to anyone they feel is intoxicated. There will be a 2-limit beer per customer per transaction. We will have safe security on site throughout the event. They'll roam the concourses and aisles, proactively looking for to prevent underage drinking and those who may be overserved. The entire stadium perimeter is enclosed by a fence, and ingress and egress is through gates staffed by safe security. No beer will be allowed to leave the premises or to come in. Special Event Medical is our contracted medical provider, and they will be manning our first aid rooms and will be on site for the duration of the event. We will also have Annapolis Police on site at the event. We have a track record of serving beer at previous events and believe that we have the policies and procedures in place to accommodate beer sales in a safe and responsible manner. Fortunately, we've not had issues in the past with any alcohol-related issues, but I do believe with our trained servers, limits on beers, ID checks, security staff, Annapolis Police, plus our medical staff, we have all the pieces in place to mitigate any issues. Thank you for your time, and Mr. Bland and I would be happy to answer any questions for the board.
All right, thank you, Mr. Givens. Does the board have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, we've never had a problem with them. I move that we approve this motion.
I second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, guys, thanks for being here tonight. Have a happy holiday tomorrow, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Excuse me. All right, next up, we have the American Legion Post 141's Crab Feast request. This is a request for an open to the public event number 1 for a crab feast scheduled on the 31st of August, 2024 from 2 to 8 p.m. at 1707 Forest Drive, Annapolis, 21403. We'll see if
Gunny's muted. There it goes.
Gunny, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Good to see you tonight.
Good to be seen instead of viewed.
Can you give us your name and address for the record, and then just go ahead and tell us about the crab feast?
Yes, my name is Curtis D. Jones at 1400 Bretton View Road, Annapolis, Maryland, 21409.
All right, take it away, sir.
Crab. Excuse me?
I said, take it away.
Okay, the crab feast is August 31st. It's for the Sons of the American Legion. It's a fundraiser, and we do have security, and I'll be there also. And there'll be no alcohol taken off property. And it's a crab feast. I don't know what's more to say about it. Except for we'll have #1 crabs from the Eastern Shore. And you're all invited.
Well, thank you. Are you going to be putting wristbands on people to identify who's over 21?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Gunny, how many people typically participate or attend?
We roughly have about 100 to 150. We can seat 158.
Is it all inside, or do you open up, or do you do something in the parking lot?
It'll be all inside.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, your request is granted.
Gunny, I just want to say that I see that you're now using Elite Security.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I compliment you on that. They're 100% good.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have an application for consumption of alcoholic beverages on city property at the Stanton Center with music for a baptism. This is scheduled for August 10th, 2024 from 4 p.m. to midnight, 92 West Washington Street, Annapolis 21401. Let's wait for a second, see who comes forward on that.
Sure, this is another that they have not gotten back to us.
Oh, okay, another one.
Here.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. All right, well, we will move on then to item number 12. Thank you guys for trying to contact them. Appreciate it. We will go to item number 12, which is sea salt. This is a request for an extension of the issuance of an alcoholic beverage license by Sea Salt Restaurant, trading as Sea Salt. For the board's recollection, the final extension request to pick up the license expired on June 6th, 2024, but the applicants have asked to be heard tonight. So, see, we've got a couple of people here. Hey, John, how are you?
Hey guys, how are you? Good evening.
Thanks. Colin, can you hear us okay? Okay.
Muted, Colin.
Yep, I gotcha. I'm here.
And then Alfredo, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, gotcha. Just gonna ask you all to put your name and addresses on the record for us, and then John, I'm presuming you're gonna be presenting tonight, so we'll turn it over to you, okay?
Okay, thanks.
All right, so just name and addresses first, and then go right ahead.
John Hogan, 162 Green Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401.
Okay, Colin.
Colin Lennon, 11 Brook Avenue, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401.
Okay, thank you. And then Alfredo, please.
Alfredo Molinas, 403 Idle Oak Court, Severna Park, Maryland, 21146.
All right, go right ahead.
Okay, thank you for having us again. Just to sort of carry on from where we've been in this long process and sort of an update on our end. We have obviously had many extensions to this point. And we of course thank the board for having allowed us to continue this process. Definitely unprecedented, even from our perspective. And we wanted to just give you a quick update and request from the board that you allow us to continue that process. We're very close. We're in final inspections right now. And I can speak to what that means specifically and how close we are. And then, you know, from the beginning, we have applied for a transfer of the license from the previous establishment, Fido's Irish Restaurant, which was at One Park Place. And in the fall, December of 21, we signed a lease with Park Place Space, and taking over the.
You had your hand up, right? I wasn't crazy and left that fridge open.
Taking over the Fido Irish Restaurant and putting in a new concept called Sea Salt Restaurant. This is my second restaurant in Annapolis, having owned and started Level Restaurant down the street a number of years ago as well. Obviously the impact of COVID, the impact of the market, the impact of doing business in this environment today, we've touched upon in the past. I think everybody's quite familiar, at least in general struggles along that way. And we inherited and took a very special space in its location, in its impact to the community, and in its impact to the city of Annapolis and the business district. In doing so, we took, we signed a 15-year lease with Park Place. We have significant investment in the landlord, and the landlord has significant investment in us. And we embarked down this path to rebuild what was existing. This is a pretty large renovation, a 5,500 square foot restaurant. And coming out of COVID, the environment was very unknown. And fast forward to today, we're about 13, 14 months in from our building permit, which, took an extended period of time to get as well. Certainly a lot longer than anybody expected, even from, the city's perspective, and from the time that we applied for transfer of license in early 2022. In general, we're sort of down that road with I wouldn't say it's an extraordinary long period of time for a renovation. It seems like it's long because it took an extended period of time to get our permits to build. And from the work that we've done thus far to where we are is pretty acceptable. And considering all of the stumbling blocks along the way with regard to things like the market and contractors and building issues, and there's a whole litany of things that have occurred sort of along that path, which has further delayed our project. We are now here in beginning of July. We sat before you last December and hoped that we would be able to be open in the next 6 months, and you worked with us and gave us an extension till June 1st, I believe, June 6th, something along those lines. And we were very close. We are in our final inspection stages, which means we've called for the 5 city Annapolis permits to come out and finalize for us. And then when those get approved, we ran into some issues with them, some significant issues. As an example, there's a succession of permits that you can, in final inspections that you can order. And the first one you start with is plumbing. We can't get to an occupancy until we go through the first 5. The day before our plumbing permit, we had a plumbing inspection. Sorry, not the permit. We had the building's grease line, which comes under our unit, flushed and in working order. And in that day, a 4-foot piece of that 8-inch cast iron steel grease line exploded in the parking garage below our unit. A very unusual situation, something that we had to work significantly with the landlord to mitigate and fix. That process put us back 4 weeks on plumbing alone. So we have experienced some unusual delays along this path, and however, we keep persevering and we keep moving through. We're committed to this space. We're not going anywhere. We all live here. We're all committed to the city and to the community. We're committed to the landlord. The landlord's committed to us. So in doing so, that where we are today is that we're hoping to get our final inspections now that some of these issues have been resolved. We've called them back, and then we can get our 3rd and 4th mechanical, electrical building. And then once we have that, we can call out to the health department. There's a 2-week process there. We have to show them our inspections, and then they'll come out and give us our final occupancy, at which case the city can give us our occupancy permit, which is what you guys are looking for as a board in order to grant us the official license, or the license in hand, if you will. So that's where we are today. We're literally just got water back to the unit last Friday. So we're able to then carry on. and follow through with the other inspections and so forth. You know, we have tried to be as transparent as we can to what that process is for you, and in terms of what we're asking. So with that, we were simply asking that the board allows us to continue that process, to be able to pick up our license as soon as possible, as soon as we have our occupancy in hand. We expect that sometime in the next 4 to 5 weeks, assuming other things don't occur, which, you know, we pretty much exhausted all of those things, because we have had beginning of inspections. And so they've come back with us and they've asked us for, you know, XYZ things, which we've fixed and or mitigated.
Okay. But I appreciate you guys hearing tonight, and I think you said it in one of your first words, it's unprecedented. I mean, this is going on, and I can't imagine the headache you guys have gone through to get to where you are today. In reviewing the correspondence that you've had with Miss Gaines and Miss Eldridge, the latest email, John, that I'm seeing, did you drop off a new liquor license application? Has that been submitted to the clerk's office?
We did, under the advisement of our counsel.
Yeah.
We added a liquor license, a new application to the queue, I guess. We don't know what the outcome, we don't know what the outcome will be tonight, but we are diligent about getting open. And so if we were able to have added a new permit and get on that queue, then we feel that might be a solution as well. Obviously it's a similar process. I don't know exactly how different it is from transferring the one license or a brand new application, but assuming it's a very similar review process. And we have already submitted that. I dropped that to Cindy several weeks ago. I don't know exactly.
It was like June 4th.
We're trying
Cindy,
to think ahead and to be
Yeah.
proactive as best as we can.
I think
Even that
that's-
in of itself may not necessarily be a traditional protocol as well.
I think it's smart, especially if you guys really want to get open as soon as possible. Cindy, is the application complete to the best of your knowledge?
Have not even had an opportunity to review it. It's in the file for August if you guys decide to go that route, but I have not even reviewed it.
Okay, but we could get it on the agenda for August.
If that is your wish.
The big thing here, John, is we're in an interesting predicament because the license is effectively expired because it wasn't extended past the June 4th deadline. So it's really difficult for the board to turn around, revive an unissued license, and then extend it for another 60, 90, 120 days, whatever the case may be. You know, we probably would have been in a different situation if there was a request for an extension provided 3 weeks before our June hearing. We could have tried to squeeze you on and go from there. But, you know, at this point, I'm just not sure the board has the authority to revive an expired license that hasn't already been issued for I think this would be what, the 4th or 5th extension. So that's why I was asking whether we could get you on the docket for August, because if we can get you on for a new license in August, you start your whole time to pick the license up over, which would be beneficial for you. I don't think there's anything that we can do to grant another extension, since the June 6th, the deadline has come and gone. But if the application is complete and we can get you on for August, we'll certainly push you to the top of the line if you think you're going to be able to get open in mid-August or September. It sounds like you have at least another 3 or 4 weeks before you're going to finalize all these inspections.
What is that the new pickup new window looks like after a new license application? is there a definitive time?
Yeah, you've got 6 months from the date that you've got 6 months, and unless you request, unless you say, we don't want our pickup date to start until, 3 months, we can extend it that way. We can't backtrack if you do that, right? So if you say we don't want to pick up our license until September 30th, but then all of a sudden you're ready to open up earlier, the clerk's office is so bogged down that it might not be as simple as snapping your fingers and walking in and getting your license, right? So if you think you're going to be able to open up in 4 weeks or 5 weeks or whatever the case may be, I think our hearing date in August is the 7th. So that's 5 weeks from today, and presupposing that you get your UNO on or before the 7th, you could pick your license up if everything's in order on the 8th. So, we can certainly work with you to get you on August docket if everything is in the file that Ms. Gaines needs.
Yeah,
I
I think what we were, our mind was processing that as well. And that's why we dropped that initially.
Okay. Cindy, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I just want to make sure that everyone is aware. The initial, as he stated, the initial application was a transfer. This application, if you wanted to go forward in August, is a new. So everything will have to be redone for a new license, including the ads and the postings, and everything will have to be redone.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so just hop on that immediately so that we can advertise and post properly. The board can't give you legal advice on what transpires at a new license hearing. Talk to Chris Buck. He'll give you the lowdown on it relatively quickly. And also, all of these meetings are recorded and they're available on YouTube, so you can watch those at your convenience to see what happens at a hearing for a new license.
Yeah, I've been through that previously.
Right. Right.
But in addition, though, we are aware of the timing of some of those requirements within the application, postings and the reach out and all that. That's there, and Ms. Gaines has advised me on a couple parts of that application already, because there's some crossover, right, in the actual application that we use from previous, like. We don't need to submit a new building plan to you. We've already submitted a building plan to you. But we made new copies for you and new availability of that, so that we made sure that we had everything in that application as well.
Yeah, and I think that's great. And keeping in contact with Ms. Gaines, she's the guru on all this. She'll tell you exactly what needs to get done and when it needs to get done so that you can be on August's agenda. And that's, I think the best that we can do for you is tell you that if there is a complete application and it has been advertised appropriately in accordance with statute, we'll hear you in August. We'll make room for you in August. But again, that's a lot of the burden is going to be on your guys' shoulders to make sure that everything is there. And, if Cindy asks for something and says she needs a response quickly, it's probably because something needs to get advertised, something needs to get done to make sure that we meet all the timelines so we can get you on for August.
Yeah, we're aware of the dates traditionally in that application, and I'm sure that Cindy will outline it for us. Specifically, she has always been very good communicating with me from the start. And our team altogether, so we would anticipate that.
Okay. All right. So does the board have any questions?
No, I have none.
Okay. All right, well, with that, I'll make a motion that we deny the extension request. However, I'll put a caveat on there that pending a complete application being submitted within the appropriate time frame, we place this on our next agenda, which is August 7th, 2024, for an application on a new license.
Second.
Second.
Thank you for your time, everybody.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right,
See you
guys.
guys in August.
We'll see you guys in
Yeah, see you
August.
in August.
Can't wait to
Thanks
start
very
making
much.
some seafood for you guys.
I
It's
know,
been a
we
long
can't
road.
wait.
Yeah, we can't wait either.
It nearly
Yeah.
killed us, but we're still here.
Good luck.
All
Great.
right.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
We'll see you in
Thanks, guys.
August.
See you in August, guys.
So I'm assuming nobody has shown up for the two Stanton Center.
I'm not seeing you. That is correct.
On a
Okay.
meeting.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else to come before the board tonight,
Wait a minute, wait a minute. Jimmy,
Yeah.
you do a wonderful job. I just really want to compliment you on that.
Thank you.
You're a great chairperson.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
With
All right.
that, I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Have
All right,
a
good.
wonderful 4th,
Great.
everyone.